how I got into and learned how to dominate influencer marketing. So I'm going to take you guys on a little journey and tell you a little story about how I personally got into influencer marketing. So my move into influencer marketing was through what I call forced opportunity. So to put in perspective how I learned to do influencer marketing, I want you to think about a time where your back has been against the wall. And I want you to think about the type of person that you are. When your back's against the wall, do you perform better or do you perform worse? For me personally, my foray into influencer marketing, for lack of a better word, was because my back was against the wall. Typically, when your back's against the wall, you learn to fight 10 times harder. One of my first businesses was in the US, and it was in the early stages of the CBD boom, meaning for the first time ever, people could sell health and wellness products derived from CBD, better known as medical plant products. Now, at this point, it was a bull market, meaning the market was going like this. So a lot of people were making a lot of money. As I try to teach people all the time, if you want to succeed at creating online internet money, which is my fun little word for making stacks of money on the internet through online brands, you have to learn how to ride waves. At this point in my career, I happen to be a particularly good surfer. I was good at identifying trends and waves. I was good at getting onto those waves, making a bunch of money, and then getting off, or continuing to ride the wave at a slower pace for a longer period of time. So, backtrack to 2018, 2019, there was a bill that passed in the US Congress which basically made it legal to sell products derived from CBD. This opened up a huge market. We were seeing everything from CBD oils, pain creams, lip balms, therapeutic products, muscle relaxing products, topicals, gummy bears, vapes, anything that was derived from this medical plant was making money. So for me, I identified that way very quickly. I want to mention as well, I got a lot of content that I put out for free, which will teach you guys exactly how to find topics that are exploding and how you can exploit those topics to make money for yourself. It is genuinely simple. I'll put a couple of links to that in the video, but I'm going to go back to the story about how I learned influencer marketing. I'm going to link it back to how I learned it via this particular wave. So we had the CBD market that was booming. Everyone was selling products, but there was one catch. It was very hard to sell these products. Why? Because anytime something new comes along and something cool comes along, a lot of old established players don't like that and they want to stop people in that market from making money. Sometimes markets can grow so quickly in the online space that the powers that be and a lot of the tech companies want to clamp down on that. So they've clamped down on every major bull market that I've seen. There's been a little bit of pushback. For example, dropshipping is almost dead now because the tech platforms have more or less banned it. Why? Because too many people were selling too much junk on the internet, getting rich, and then walking away. So the tech companies didn't want that. Very similar in the early 2000s. People were making millions of dollars, sometimes up to $1 million a week, selling weight loss supplements, selling muscle building supplements. The problem is when markets become so hot so quick, you do get a lot of dodgy operators. And that's not your fault, that's not my fault. But what happens is when things start to grow like that, the market's going to make a lot of money, but also at the same time, it's going to attract a lot of people that are unscrupulous, that want to do it in an unethical and unreasonable way. They're going to want to cut corners. So realistically, the short takeaway is this: when there's a market and people are making lots of money, what the big tech platforms don't want is the bad players to come in and ruin it for everything. And I guarantee you, every time there's a bull market, no matter what it is, there's going to be many, many more coming over the years. I'm even going to show you some of the upcoming bull markets so that you can get in on them for free. But what I'm saying is every time there's a bull market, you're going to get people that are going to ruin it for everybody. So in this particular instance for me, during that period, we were selling quality tested, ethically sourced, sustainably packaged, third-party verified, top-of-the-range products to American consumers in that particular market. Now, my problem was I couldn't do any of my traditional marketing. I couldn't do Google ads. I couldn't do Facebook ads. I couldn't do TikTok ads. I couldn't do paid ads for anything. There was not a tech company on the planet Earth that would let me market my products. So I basically had a room full of products that were fantastic, health benefits, that had exceptional key selling points that were fantastic for pain relief, for muscle relaxation, really high quality products. But because they were derived from a medical plant at the time, I couldn't sell them through paid ads anywhere. So this is where my back got put up against the wall. So when your back's up against the wall, the question becomes, what do you do to get out of it? Do you quit and buckle and go fall on your knees, or do you get back up and do you figure out how to win at all costs? I'm not the type of person that likes to lose. I actually fucking hate losing. So when my back was against the wall and I couldn't advertise my products on any platforms, I refused to lose. I looked around at the market and I said, okay, what do we know? We know that there are a lot of people making money all over the place at the moment, and they're making a ridiculous amount of money. And I want to get some of that money. So what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? So I had to look at the market. I had to take a step back and say, here's what I can't do. Once you've accepted what you can't do, the question becomes, what can you do? So I looked at what people were doing, and I said to myself, one of the things we can do is we just need to tap into eyeballs. Like, we need to tap into people, and we need people to see our products. So how can we do that in a scalable way? Obviously, there are boring traditional things that I think don't work anymore, such as billboards. I don't think that many people convert from radio stations. I don't think that many people convert from television anymore. Again, I'm not fucking 80 years old, so I wouldn't really know. I'm not the target consumer for these things anyway. That was just my personal view. As a young dude at the time, I just knew most of the eyeballs were on the internet. So the question became, how do I get the eyeballs and how do I get consumers to see my brand so I can put it in front of as many people as possible? Because think about this, right? In theory, you've got the best product in the world, but you can't sell it to anyone because you can't do paid ads. So what are you going to do? You know that if you can get it into the hands of 1,000 people, they're going to recommend at least one person each to use your product. But you can't get that first 1,000 sales. So for me, what I said was, look, we've got a whole bunch of stock. Why don't we just go across the internet, find all of our favorite YouTubers, our favorite TikTokers, and our favorite Instagrammers, and we just give them stuff for free? My team was like, that sounds a little bit crazy. You just want to give things to people for free. And I said, yeah, let's just do it. Why not? Because if you gave away 1,000 units of products to 1,000 people with 1,000 followers, that's 1 million eyeballs that you can tap into. Let's say you convert the tiniest amount of those eyeballs into paying customers. Then you've got a business. Then you've got that first big run on the board. And what happens is then you don't need paid ads anymore, because if you can just figure out the market that you're in, create a list of all your favorite people across all platforms. They can be massive creators with 500,000 to 1 million followers, or they could be micro creators with 1,000 followers. The point is, all you're doing at that point is eyeball farming. And if you can give your product away to as many people as possible, the more people that you give the product away to, the more eyeballs you get. The more eyeballs you get, the more sales you're going to get. And then once you get the sales, what's going to happen is then automation can take place. And then it's going to start to scale organically by itself. What's going to happen then? Let's say you've got your first 1 million eyeballs through giving away products to influencers. And let's say that gets you your first 1,000 sales. If you can put in place a referral system for your customers, just get them to refer at least one person each by incentivizing them with discount codes, gifts, giveaways, whatever it is that you come up with that you think resonates with your audience. If you can take that first 1,000 batch of people and incentivize them to share it with at least one person each, that then becomes 2,000 people. And then if you can do the same thing with those 2,000 people, pretty quickly that's going to become 10,000 people. And then if you want to get from 10,000 people to 100,000 people, what you can do is you can start to incentivize your influencers. So you can go back to the same batch of people who you initially used to promote your product and say, guess what? We've got a brand new product coming out. So now you get a second gift. Then the same batch of influencers, whether they're micro with 1,000 followers or macro with 100,000 followers, you go back to that same batch, you bring out a new product, you say, hey, we've got a brand new one, it's an absolute banger, and then they push that out again, you push that to your customer base loves it, you attract new customers, you incentivize the new customers to their friends to the product through email automation, through just basic customer service, which you can outsource as well. Once you've done that, then you've created a snowballing brand. Now, this won't work for every single brand in the world, but if you've come up with something that's new, something that's innovative, something that's different, something that is fucking cool, this is how to crack influencer marketing. This is how I got one of my brands up to $500,000 a month. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just want you to think about how many people do you know that have made $500,000 in a month? How many people do you know that make $500,000 in a year? So the key takeaway from this is my move into influencer marketing was because my back was against the wall. It was because that was the only way I could get my product into the hands of my consumers. So I want you to think, if something's not working and your back is against the wall, you should thank God, because that's basically you in the luckiest position ever. Because when things are going moderately well, you're not forced to think hard. It's only when things are tough that you're forced to think outside the box, that you're forced to think differently. So next time your back is against the wall, I want you to think of it as an opportunity. And next time you're launching a brand, I want you to take the lesson of how I was forced into influencer marketing and managed to leverage that to dominate the particular space that I was in at that time. And then I want you to use these lessons for your own brand, for your own business, for your own product. Because as I've said in other videos, the only way to get cool shit and make amounts of money that other people have made that you want to get for yourself is if you look at the people that have already done it and you simply copy them. That's why sometimes people call me Robin Hood of the internet, because if someone's done something cool that works, I don't give a single solitary fuck about copying them. I'll do it every day of the week, and I'll do it twice on a Sunday, and you should do it too. So that's my story about how I got into influencer marketing. I hope you liked this video. I'll put a few links in the bio around a couple of growth hacks that I used on top of this, but that's all we've got for today. Thank you for joining me in the video. I've got an exciting one coming up next, and I'll see you in the next video.